Hello everyone, welcome to another fantastic episode of Basic Blokes, the show where we tell you why we don't hate the universe, and Eric gives you antidepressant news.
You.
It's been one of those weeks. Anyway, how are you? It's been
I'm well, man.
since we've catch.
It's been a hot minute, mate. I know you've been busy. I've been busy. Life gets in the way when we're trying to create content for the masses.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been good.
I heard a rumour, so I've been keeping my eye on social, and apparently the going thing is, once again, that you still hate games.
What is with that? Like, people think I shit on games for, like, it's shits and giggles, but I don't hate games. I just hate buying a game that's utter shit.
Funny that, isn't it?
I don't like giving full money to a game it's like me giving half the money. I should start giving half the money till the game's ready, and then I'll give them the other half, you know?
I think this is why we need the blockbuster of games to come back.
We do. Remember when we used to hire a game, and if you really liked it, you'd go and buy it. There's not that option anymore.
Yeah,
you know?
the days of telling how good a game is by how many times it's been scratched on the back of the disc is over.
Yep.
It's like, 5.7.
Yep. Or you couldn't rent it because it was always constantly out. Then you knew that it was good.
Right?
But Blockbuster, if you're watching this video right now, please talk to me and Dom. Let's get Blockbuster coming back to bring back even if you do video games, you'd be saving a ton of money for some people out there.
Yeah, Steam wanted to do they wanted to do a renting process, and I think
that'd
honestly,
be a good idea.
Being able to play the game for like 3 hours and then be going, actually, this probably isn't for me, would be absolutely amazing. Because if I don't play 2 hours of it, it goes back on the refund pile because you said games are expensive.
They are super expensive. And I come in Australia, man, and you buy a brand new game, it's either like from the digital store, it's $100, and that's without all the bibs and bobs. Like Call of Duty is $160. Modern Warfare 3, $160 Australian.
That's mad.
Ridiculous.
That's what they should do across the world. They should just put everything in Australian dollars. So when you go to buy a game, you're like, oh, fuck me, that's expensive.
Jesus Christ, that's like a mortgage payment on a house.
Yeah, maybe I'll think.
That's my house. That's my rent. You know, it's
literally.
Yeah, it's expensive over here.
So Alex Murphy has raised his bald head from the grave, and we have Robocop back on the market again.
Robocop Rogue City, and this is one I was actually really keen to play. It's done by Teon Studios, I believe, and they did the Terminator game a few years back called Terminator Resistance, which I've actually replayed recently on my TikTok stream. No self-promo. But what I've seen of the trailer, it looks fun, it looks nostalgic, it looks like fan service, and I'm going to give it a go and see what it's like, and I'm really excited. And like I said, it's from our childhood. It's really cool to see stuff from my childhood becoming up-to-date games, like Robocop and also the Terminator game I just mentioned. I was 13 years old when Robocop came out, and I remember watching this super ultra-violent movie, and it was just over-the-top craziness, but it was so cool. Even though I shouldn't have been watching it, I was only 13. It's an R-rated movie, which you had to be 18 to watch. But it's such a great movie and such a nostalgia. So, Robocop Rogue City is out. I got the Alex Murphy pack where you got some extra skins and some weapons and stuff like that, and also some artwork done in as well. And it's available now. You can actually play it now, or you can wait till November 2nd to play it when it's out on full release. But it looks great. It looks fun.
Yeah, Robocop was one of those special kind of films because it was one of the first 18 films that I actually got to watch, and the reason because it was like it didn't look particularly violent on the front of it, and my dad hated sci-fi, so I was just like, oh yeah, no, Daddy, it's just about robots fighting each other.
Yeah.
So long as let's be watching it.
And the man gets his arms shot off, half his head taken off. Yeah,
right.
It's a really ultra violent movie, but it's so good. It's like a stylistic violence. And I think it's sort of like it was projecting like 80s violence in films and stuff like that, but it's almost comical. It's like almost like a comic book coming to life, but with all this ultra stylistic steampunky violence and stuff, with these larger than life characters, so you couldn't take it seriously. But it's such a great movie, and it's just nice to see. And they actually got Peter Weller to come back to do the voice of Robocop, and he got his likeness, which is really cool. So
damn,
it's really cool.
Going. That's
he's in his late. I think he's 70. or late 60s.
He is actually Robocop now. They've just
Yeah. But yeah, it's got such amazing casual. Buy that for $1 and move creep and protect the innocent. And I remember playing the Sega Genesis game Robocop versus Terminators, which was great. That was a great game. And so yeah, it's really cool to see that sort of stuff coming back out.
Robocop is... I don't think I've got very many memories of bad Robocop games. There haven't been many of them. But
there's not been too many. I think the Xbox one that came out early 2000s, and I think it was on PC, was not the best. Like, I had some janky controls and stuff, but it was okay.
Okay.
It was okay.
What really annoys me about 80s games, though, is this: they seem to be the number uno title that you take and then you turn it into doo-doo, and Aliens is the number one fucking... It still infuriates me that you've got such a great franchise and they still continue to produce utter bollocks. There was the Aliens first-person shooter, which was phenomenal, really set the bar, and then it's just still bollocks. You had Alien, you had Fireteam, and then...
That was okay, but that was really buggy to get in matches, and that's why I stopped playing it. Aliens Fireteam was like... Whenever you try to get onto crossplay and stuff, there's always people dropping in and out of the game. It was so annoying. And then when you get into a good couple of hours or something would happen... And I think you got that Rogue Team one that you just mentioned. That's out, and I haven't really played it because it's only single player. I thought, why isn't this co-op?
Yeah, it's like a turn-based game. Who the fuck wants to play Alien turn-based?
Not me.
It's put me in a tunnel with face huggers and things clanking around, or hundreds of aliens running at me and a big gun, and I'll be happy. Like
Alien Isolation is probably the last best Alien game. That was really good. That was like pure shit scary fear. Yeah. I want to see number 2. I would love to see an Alien Isolation 2 where it's co-op, where you and a friend are actually on the ship with your friends and you're trying to escape from an alien. Now, that would be on your pants, shit scary stuff.
Yeah, and they still bring in that amazing mechanic they had of the microphone, which I thought was phenomenal.
That was great, yeah.
So imagine you have 2 of you and you've both got to be quiet
and
for like this.
And your cat's making noise in the background. Jonesy! And the cat. Yeah. And then the alien hears it, or hear people in the background, or music or something. But that would be really cool. I would love to see an Alien Isolation 2, because I haven't finished the entire game, but I've done most of it, and it was such a really good nostalgia. Like, the story was good, the voice acting was good, the atmosphere. That's what I want in a game. Like, if they're trying to replicate a movie or something from the past, if they get that atmosphere ticked off really well, kudos to them. And Alien Isolation did that. Like, how it's intertwined with the first movie as well. Like, it was just cleverly done. You could see that they watch the movies, they're fans. And that's what I like to see when people are doing fan service, but they're also fans themselves. So, yeah, Alien Isolation is definitely one of the best Alien games.
Yeah, I think what really added to it is and what games are lacking at the moment is while it's good to have a really strong single player storyline, and you've got those, do you remember this bit? This is really good, etc. It's those sandbox moments where it's like, I did this, I used my own initiative, and this happened to me, and it was my own unique experience, and then you share that with your mates, and then it's, I didn't realise you did. Like, I was going along to the park, because the alien just like randomly pops out everywhere, and I was hiding in the toilet, and then I sneezed, and then fucking it ripped my head off, and...
There was a glimmer of that, even though, like, when Aliens Colonial Marines came out, and I know everyone shitted on that game, and it was a bit of a mess, kerfuffle. It was actually it was a game I was disappointed with because I was so hyped up for that game. I bought it. The campaign with friends was fun, but there was such a missed opportunity of bringing Colonial Marines to the Aliens franchise, doing a really... Could have done like Resident Evil-esque meets Aliens, close quarters, aliens coming at you, but they didn't. They just fucked it up. And it just annoys me, like, how they can release stuff out there like that and say, oh yeah, this would be good enough. And that's what we're coming with right now, is like, it should be right, we'll patch it as we go. It shouldn't be like that anymore. We should, in this day and age, with the money and resources that they have, we should be getting like top tier games with no problems, or hardly minimize the problems. But we seem to be getting more and more problems. And that's what I'm fed up with.
Yeah, there's a lot of... As a developer, I understand what happens, is because like they have a big list of bugs, right? And then, are these game breaking? Can we just release this? and then fix it later on as we go, so that they get the initial capital, but people aren't immensely unhappy. I feel like the line has swung, however, where people are so consumer hungry for products and stuff like that. With stuff being, say, we've got a huge amount of companies now that are on the public market. They're like the gaming companies are no longer just like passion entities. They are
fruit franchise.
Yeah,
pump it out as many as we can. This is funny as you mentioned that. I remember when I was growing up, and you get your monthly magazine, your Sony PlayStation magazine or PC magazine, and it would tell you pretty much all the games that are coming out this year, and it'd be like a handful of really big, promising games that you'd be excited for. Now it's a handful of promising games every week. Or every month there's some big games coming out. Every week or 2 weeks there's something coming out, or even on the multiple time. Like this month here, I got Modern Warfare 3, Alan Wake 2, which I didn't buy because I want to buy it, but I just don't have the resources. Robocop, Rogue City, and that's over $300 there in under a month's time. And not only that, times too. The time constrict. There seems to be too many games coming out, and you don't seem to have enough time. So you have to pick and choose. And by the time you play one and you want to go into another one, the next month comes along and something else comes out that you want to get, and you're just forever losing time on games. It's just getting absolutely crap.
Yeah, I feel you there. I've recently bought Spider-Man 2, and that was £70, maybe even 75, which is just absurd. I don't know. I remember games being cheaper. Maybe with inflation and stuff like they are the same price. That's still a massive fucking lump of money. Like when I was working in, like when I was working in my NHS job, and I was like an HCA, I was a healthcare assistant. Like that would have been absolute fucking huge. I mean, even now it's a huge amount of money. It's not like that's no longer, I'm paying for a cinema trip. That's I'm going out for a 3-course meal and a massage afterwards. That's a week's food. It's
a night out in the town, and it's a lot of money. This is why I've stated before, I don't see why games are vastly more expensive than buying a Blu-ray or a CD. Like when you buy a CD or something, it's usually between $25 to $30 Australian. You buy a Blu-ray, same price, $30-$40 Australian, and then you buy a game, and it's $100. You can buy it some places they're a bit cheaper, like $60-$80, depending where you get it from. But I live in a remote area, so everything I buy is usually digital because I want to play it on the day. And now I'm buying it digitally. I don't even have the actual copy in my hand. It's a digital download. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see comparatively movie production costs versus film production costs, because I feel like I get it, you need software engineers and there's a lot of speciality skills you do for producing games, but at the same time the technologies behind them are getting standardized. You've got things like Unreal, there's a lot of like motion capture, same sort of way as you speed up these productions. What is it that is causing these massive overheads? Is it that they just are very expensive to run and we have to, unfortunately, or is it corporate greed now? And as a result, everything is going to go up in price. I can see in our lifetime games being £100 each, whatever that is in Australia,
or $200 Australian. There's talks of that coming up. Yeah,
and that's scary. That's no longer I can go, oh yeah, this game is coming out, I think I'm gonna get. It's like, oh well, no, actually probably will sit back and buy this at a later date, and maybe not today. It's a scary thing.
What's going on?
Yeah, and I always feel like video games should be one of those things that everyone has access to it. You know, it's a great unifier of people, and I guess a lot of people say, oh, you don't have to buy them or whatever, but I think that's a sad state of affairs, that like it almost becomes like an elite level of entertainment. Like, you you go see a cinema, it's like it's not completely out the reach of someone. Why should it be that case for
and you get a feed too. Like you sit there, you get your entertainment of 2 hours and stuff like that. And I know that with games, there's obviously 9 times out of 10 replay value, and they add more DLC with most games as nowadays, and skins and packs. But it's a tough nut to crack to see what's the ins and outs. I know that some games do cost like hundreds of millions of dollars to make, but so do movies. There's a lot of movies, like Jim Cameron's movie cost like $300 million or some shit. And that's what publishing and all that sort of stuff and networking and marketing, and took nearly 2.5, I don't know. That motherfucker's making movies that take a couple of years. And it was still average.
Yeah.
I watched it. I look, it was basically the first movie in the water.
Mm-hmm.
I want to play, I like buying games, but I want to see my money's worth, especially when it's expensive.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. So Call of Duty is coming out next week. What's the thought?
Modern Warfare 2.0.
Modern Warfare 2.0.
We just chuck zombies in there. It's fast food. People love their Call of Duty. They want to jump in there, play the maps. They're going to be all nostalgic as fuck. They're going to love the maps, like the Modern Warfare 2 maps. But I would love to see them take risks in a Call of Duty game. Like maybe make a campaign a little bit longer. Wouldn't it be nice to have, like in one of their season passes, a continuation to the campaign? Like an actual, here's some new maps, here's some new stuff for zombies as well, and also a little bit extra of the campaign. 2-hour prologue or something. I would just like to see that. It would just be something that just throw left field where people go, oh, did not expect that. Just something out of the norm that would be throw people out. They need to start doing something a little bit unpredictable to just get the people excited. I know most people are quite happy to just replay the same maps and complain about the time to kill, because I know people complain about the time to kill. They say it's too long. They're so used to shooting people in the elbow and killing them instantly. But I didn't mind the time to kill. I thought it was fine.
Do you know what's funny? You mentioned about continuous game. When Diablo 4 came out, there was...
Game?
Do you remember that game? I wasn't overly pleased with what they'd done with Diablo 4. However, I did come back for Season 2, which is all vampire themed, which I thought was a nice little touch. And there are still things wrong with the game, like the fact that it feels like it's a single-player game with a scattering of people in the world, and there's no real... For a big open... Why have a huge, giant, open multiplayer world if you're not going to encourage people to get together and do things? Where's the social element of it? However, their continuation of the game has been really good. The stuff that they've added dungeons, they've got voice actors doing on the character expansion, there's a whole new plot with the season, and I really like that. And you can see that they're building up towards a new class release, and I think the time and effort they've put in to the new technology for making it easily scalable is, I think, going to pay off in the long run. I think Diablo 4 is eventually going to turn into something really good, and we'll see more social tools coming into it, and then it will be everything that kind of I want it to, because like, I really want it to be like group dungeons and stuff that I can play with my friends. And while I can't, I find it one of those games that you can pick up, play for a couple of hours, put down, and then I won't come back to it for like a week or something, but I still come back and enjoy it. So I'm not ultimately disappointed, but I think this is the problem with Call of Duty, right? They are clearly going for this ecosystem of it's one universe now on Battle.net and bits and pieces, because as soon as Diablo 4 come out, you've got all the skins in Call of Duty, you've also got the skins in Overwatch, and they're all circling around. They put the Butcher in Call of Duty, which I thought was kind of cool, and if you kill him you get a special weapon for another game. I thought, wow, those are nice touches. But the problem is that the map, with you look at things like Fortnite, they got their engine there, they can just build stuff really easily and expand it out, and that just isn't there for the Call of Duty right now, so they can't spin up like new maps, and there's lots of, I know FPS
imagine
is
if Call of Duty, well, imagine if Call of Duty did that, had community stuff you could do in the game, where people could create their own maps. I know you can do custom games and stuff like that, but give them more options to do. I just recently went back to Halo Infinite, where people have been doing community maps, and there's Halo Battle Royale. Someone made a Battle Royale, and it looks awesome what they've done with it. But because they've given their assets to the people to do and mess around with it. And I was playing Nuketown map on Halo Infinite. It was absolutely insane. It was heaps of fun.
Yeah, it's an interesting point, because our day, right? When Half-Life came out and Half-Life 2 and stuff, you'd be
Monsters,
Half-Life 2 mods, all these
Yeah.
different multiplayer games that people were building, and there was huge passion projects, amazing. And then you had the release of Dota 2 and some Team Fortress and stuff like that, and which led to this kind of, oh my god, people are making games and we could miss out on capitalizing on doing all this. We can miss out on all this money, so we're going to lock it down super hard. And then there was no more support for mods. Companies don't make it a priority, and I think that is one of the reasons why we don't see the lifespan of games continuing as much as we do now.
Hell no.
I'm sure there are other reasons to it, but how cool, like being able to again, it's like that money thing. Do you remember? Like CS, you could download this fish skin that you could have you replace your knife with a fish, and all those real little things that just kept me coming back. And then there were all the silly mods and other bits and pieces that kept coming back. And if game companies just unlocked part of it for the community, gave us access, gave us sandbox things to play around with, I think you would see a very different gaming universe these days, especially in terms of multiplayer stuff.
Well, it's like with GTA, like role playing and stuff. Look what they've done with that. You know, the game came out 2010 or 11, or 12 maybe, and the game is still going strong because the RP and that, and people just love messing around in the world. And not only that, there are so many creative minds out there who come out, just think out of the box. They're not been told to do this, to do that in multiple. I think when you're working in the game industry, you sort of familiarize yourself with what works and what doesn't work. But then sometimes it comes out of somewhere left field who's not entirely involved but knows the ins and outs, a lot of stuff and structure and how to work those things. Comes out with something completely random and then it just goes off. And it just takes over its own world. But it's just crazy how games are, and I just wish that the longevity of games would be around a lot longer. Okay, we've made enough money out of this game. We're going to give all the assets to the fans who've been playing this game for years. Let them do what they want with it. They should do that. I mean, they get their money's worth out of it. Give it to the people and let them play with it, mess around with it. But they won't do that. They'd rather just close it all down, wrap it on the ball and say, yep, we messed with that one. Let's go. Let's start our new project here. Let's monetize the shit out of it. And that's what the whole thing is. It's not really a gaming experience now. It's like, how much money and time can we get out of you? And it's just so frustrating. So frustrating.
Agreed. And on that note, I think we'll call it there. Thank you everyone for watching. This has been another episode of The Basic Blokes. Don't forget to subscribe. We do multiple shows a week. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, and all the other socials at BasicBlokes.
Check us out on Twitter.
And Twitter. So until then, have a great one. We'll be back soon. And ta-ra.
Bye-bye.